Alright guys, this is part 3 in getting OpenClaw to work using LM Studio's local AI models. So up till now I've been trying to use Google's Gemma 4 E4B, but Claude Code, believe it or not, is telling me that it's a terrible model because it takes too long, too much, and you can't actually prompt cache with OpenClaw using LM Studio's using Gemma. Gemma doesn't allow for good prompt caching with OpenClaw. So if I say hi, for example, it could take anything up to a minute just to answer to that question. So Claude Code is recommending to try Qwen. So I'm actually going to try one of the really good Qwen models. So to get that, I'm going to click on LM Studio on my Mac, and I'm going to find a new model. So let me just find a new model. So to find the model on LM Studio to use locally, you click on Model Search, and here you are with all the models. Now, as you can see, there's recently been released some very good Qwen models, Qwen 27B, but just to be safe, I'm going to try for something a bit smaller, the Qwen 3.5 9 billion parameter model. I'm going to download that one right now, and I'm going to try using that instead of what I've been doing till now, which is the Gemma 4, because the problem with the Gemma 4, as I've already stated, is that the prompt caching is not working, so everything takes forever. Here, it's just responded now after a minute. So now we're trying a different model. Alright, it's downloaded 100%, and now let's load the model. And the amazing thing about LM Studio is you can have more than one model loaded at any one time. So let's just test it so you can see how quick it's responding. So it's really quick. It reminds me of Gemma 4, but you only get 29 tokens a second, not 40. But still, let's test it out. So here we are. The Qwen 3.59 billion parameter model is loaded right now. I don't think I'll be able to use it until I tell OpenClaw that I've changed the model, because as you can see, OpenClaw thinks Gemma 4 is the one that's being used. Alright, I just sent Claude Code an image of the model name so he can literally change it inside of the OpenClaw.json file, which is the file that can basically change, this information up here. Like, I could do it myself using Claw Launcher and going into settings and then going into the setup wizard, but I'm just being a bit lazy. And as you can see, Claude Code is just renaming you can see red is deleting, yellow is the new, and this is going to be changing in a second from Gemma 4, which didn't work, to Qwen 3.59b, which might work, and if it does, will be sorted out. So I'm letting Claude Code, which is inside VS Code, it's a plugin inside VS Code, control my computer, a bit like OpenClaw to be honest, and just try and fix OpenClaw for me. Let's see if anything's changed here. Here we are. So we have Qwen 3.5 up here. So let's set it as default. And now let's test it. Let's say hi and see how quickly it responds. Alright, I skipped ahead, but it was taking around a minute. And here we are, here's the response speed. Now let's try a second message, you here, just to see if it responds quickly, if prompt caching actually works with Qwen or not. Alright, good news, the caching is working, so the speeds are quicker. The only thing taking long is the time it takes from the moment I type to OpenClaw to the moment that LM Studio receives the requests. Now, I understand that OpenClaw takes forever to send the request to LM Studio, and I'm still trying to figure that out. But right now, if you can see, LM Studio hasn't even received the information. How do I know? Because the moment LM Studio receives the request, this over here, the logs show what's happening within the API. So as this is completely black, it means that LM Studio hasn't even started receiving the request. So even though it looks like OpenClaw is taking forever to respond, in actuality, LM Studio just received the request now and it's already responding, which is pretty quick, and we are getting prompt caching. So guys, you cannot use Gemma 4 with OpenClaw. There's no prompt caching with Gemma 4, whereas with Qwen 3.5 and the Qwen models, you do get that caching speed. And therefore, if I say hi again, let's clear this again. Even though it takes forever to actually receive the request, once it does receive the request, it immediately starts generating a response, which means that we finally found what's usable with a powerful Mac is not Gemma 4, but rather Qwen 3.5 and better models of that type. Fantastic. So we're on a good path, and I think all we need to do is get the speed of generation from this to this quicker, meaning the speed of the API call quicker, and then we'll be good to go. But we figured out the issue. Watch, you see, from the moment it receives the request, it only takes about 3 seconds, and you have an answer. Fantastic. All right, so Claude Code, funnily enough, has looked inside OpenClaw's code and found the magic word minimal, and this apparently should bypass the 11-second core plugin tools and shrink the system prompt. So let's see if it actually works. So he's just done it now. However, it obviously is going to restart OpenClaw for me. And let's see if this will speed up the response time when I send a message to OpenClaw. Now that the profile has been set to minimal, let's hope that the message comes through a little bit quicker. But I do want you to be aware that actually, since we started a new profile, now we're going to have to send a brand new prompt for the first time to LM Studio, and only on the second time we can check how quickly the actual API call work. Alright, I'm still getting slow responses. I'm planning on trying to use this MacBook just as a server, instead of actually trying to run OpenClaw on this Mac. I'm just going to have this LM Studio as the server, and then I'm going to try running it on my Windows PC. Let's watch for the results. All right, so as usual, I'm going to use OpenClaw using this, which is our desktop app, which opens up OpenClaw. So instead of installing it with a terminal, you can literally use this app called Claw Launcher. It makes it so easy to install, restart. You can even roll back freaking versions of OpenClaw using this. And one of my favorite things about this is the freaking safety restore point. So whenever everything's working, you create a restore point. And if you look over here, you see all of my restore points that I created whenever something successfully works, just in case OpenClaw breaks, because we all know how crazy OpenClaw is. It breaks all the freaking time, and we're fed up, aren't we? So basically, now you can see I was using up till now Kimi because it's very cheap actually, but I want to try and allow myself to use the Mac basically. So let's do that right now. I'm going to set it up right now. Remember, this is a Windows PC that's about to use the MacBook over there as the server using the endpoint. All right, so Claude Code inside of VS Code is just taking care of my OpenClaw JSON file, and that's quite funny that, again, I always say that, I just think it's hilarious that Claude Code can fix your OpenClaw. But basically, it's just setting up all of the settings for me within OpenClaw so that I can actually use this model of local LLM from the Mac to the Windows. Let's see if it works. Right, so I'm going to restart OpenClaw by clicking the restart button. All right, I guess we're going to have to make a part 4 for this crazy journey, guys. We are going to get this working, guys. We are going to get this working.